Parshas EKEV. The Alter Rebbe in the Smaimer speaks about the idea of thanking for the eating and provision of the food, grace after meals, Birkas HaMazon. And it's interesting that the second paragraph of the Birkas HaMazon deals with Eretz Yisrael. And we thank Hashem for the blessing of Eretz Yisrael. And the question the Alter Rebbe raises is, if the promise to Avraham Avinu was that we should possess Eretz Yisrael always, without fail, without break, how is this promise actually being carried out when in fact for some thousands of years we've been in exile? And indeed the third Beis HaMikdash still hasn't been rebuilt. So what does it mean that there was a promise to Avraham that we'll always possess it? So the Alter Rebbe moves sideways to explain a concept in the business transaction. In a business transaction, the halacha is that to acquire something, we need to have two acts taking place. One called meshicha, which means that we take hold of the item that we are about to purchase and move it so that it's a movement towards us. You'll recall at a wedding, at a chasana, at the Kabbalas Ponim, before the chuppah, there is the ceremony of acquisition very often, in which the rabbi provides the chasan with some item to hold, usually a handkerchief or some other item, lift it, and thereby that is part of the act of acquisition. The second part of the act of acquisition is payment for the goods provided, payment of money. So the Alter Rebbe explains that this takes place also vis-a-vis Hashem and acquisition of the Jewish people and the land of Israel, and the consequent blessing on the land of Israel. The Meshicha, the first symbolic act of holding and movement, is the spiritual act of us moving towards Hashem, that our soul always wants to draw closer to the essence of Hashem, to the point that we practice often Mesiras Nefesh, complete self-sacrifice in the name of God, which means that there's an innate movement of our soul towards Hashem. And even if it isn't to that degree of complete Mesiras Nefesh, there's a constant movement. And that drawing and movement of the soul to Hashem is the first act of acquisition of the Jewish people, of ourselves, of our land. The second one is payment. And how does Hashem pay for the goods? By giving the payment of Ahava Rabbah. In other words, a payment of an extreme level of love that is then injected towards us, that we feel and sense. The fact that we end up having a state of blissful love of Hashem and Hashem's mitzvahs, etc., that's the payment. And of course, to different people, to different degrees, this is manifest. For the great tzaddikim, it's overwhelming. It's consciously felt. To people who are less than tzaddikim, myself included. So we have moments where we have this sense of Hashem's Ahava Rabbah, sense of love. So we've got these two aspects. And the Maimer continues to explore how, in the grace after meals and the benching, these two aspects actually play its role in terms of the ultimate blessing, and the fact that we do own Eretz Yisrael consistently and constantly at a spiritual level. And that will become manifest physically as well. So why don't we do a little exercise whereby we become conscious and aware of these two aspects of Hashem's acquiring of us and the land of Israel, and being able to sense the payment that we receive for it. Gently close your eyes and just become aware of your heart beating, the steady beat of the heart causing the blood to flow, animating the body, providing the means for our neshama to use the body to express itself in the world. and feel and sense your neshama, your soul, wishing to reach out and become one with Hashem again as it was previous to its Gilgul, its incarnation into this body. Sense the soul's yearning to break free of the constraints of the body and return home, to return to Hashem totally, intimately, to be one, echad, with Hashem. This is a flow of Hashem drawing us close to Him. The first symbolic act of acquiring ownership. Hashem wants us to be with Him, wants to own us in order to be in His home. And then, as you experience that yearning, wanting to come home, feel Hashem's payment, an immense love, ahava rabbah, an immense love that totally surrounds you, penetrates you, consumes you, which is Hashem's payment for our yearning. Feel and sense that, and recognize that the promise to Avraham that we will always be God's people and the land will always be God's possession is expressed through our yearning and the great love that we feel, a reciprocal love from Hashem. Gently open your eyes, coming all the way back, allowing those feelings to be able to stay with us for the rest of the day.